that you have these rights. Okay, not privileges, rights. Okay, no one said you had privileges. Okay, they said you had rights. Okay, now we come to find out that there's a bunch of fucking megalomaniac, messed up mentality mindset motherfuckers that made a bunch of fucking bullshit paper and said, oh, well, this is the way it's going to be. No, not at all. No. And it's sad because, even most people out here don't know when they're voting, they're not actually voting for anything, or their vote even counts. Their vote doesn't count worth a shit. And it's because, up until this last Postmaster General, the Rome Church still had control of the vote. They could change it at any point in time. And that's where it's gotten pretty fucked up. I mean, it's really fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I am streaming at the moment, so I'm going to introduce you as Chief Willie J.
Yeah.
Just a bit of information for anybody who's going to watch this later, because nobody's watching it now, but that's all right. Update. I contacted HUD. HUD basically said they weren't going to do a damn thing. I contacted the Oregon Housing Protection Association or whatever. Public Housing Authority. And, well, everything has to be written and submitted. They aren't going to do anything other than if it's not written. Which means, gee, time crunch sucks. If this is an emergency, call 911. If I call 911, gee, what happens? Oh, I get the sheriff, or I get the chief of police here in Hines, which both of them are in on this eviction. Then I turn around and called the U.S. Marshals. The U.S. Marshals were very friendly, very kind, but they said they did not handle it. They handle warrants and extradition issues and stuff like that.
Which is incorrect.
That's what he was claiming, so I'm like, okay, fine. Who do I go to for deprivation of rights? He said the FBI. Guess what? I spent about half an hour on a waiting thing to report this. I started explaining it, and then the FBI idiot, the FBI agent, decided to say, well, sounds like you need to get a lawyer.
And that shows their ignorance right there, people.
And
okay?
They hung up on me.
See, they're not trying to do their job, and yet they're paid to do these things, supposedly paid. Okay? And that's the sad part. There is no money. IRS code 1.1001-1 states Federal Reserve notes are not money. Okay? We even have the case laws behind it, backing it.
We even have case laws where the Supreme Court states that statute codes regulations are not law.
Well, and I get that one, but unfortunately most people don't know about the 1993 Bankruptcy Act with James Traficant's speech, which is basically, it states right there, it's a communist setup, okay? There's no reason for this country to be broke whatsoever because we're loaning our credits to everybody across the entire world. You would find that from Louis T. McFadden's speech of 1933 from the Bankruptcy Act, okay? But this is where history, when you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it or fail. And this is exactly what's going on. We're not getting any responses from these people that are supposed to be helping us. And most people don't understand it. They keep trying to place a value on stuff, okay, with this inflation, deflation stuff. And when you really look at anything from the Barflies or the Bar Association, which is British Accredited Registry, okay, in reality, it's all based on fiction. All of it's based on fiction. Okay, well, fiction isn't real. Okay, non-fiction is real. Okay, but if you're not going to study, okay, you just want your creature comforts, okay, don't bitch about things and don't cry when they come and take everything from you. And even when you are standing up for people's rights and your own, they're still going to try to murder you. I mean, that's the whole story behind Christ in the Bible. It really is. The whole thing behind Christ is a map to show you exactly how evil these people are. I think it's really funny because most people don't know their grammar. R-E and D-E are negative situations in grammar. If it's all in upper, if any portion of anything is an uppercase at the beginning of any type of document, okay, go to the Chicago Styles Manual. It says right there, it's null and void. It's not good. It's a fake. It's bullshit. Okay, but, people don't study. They don't care. If you're going to a lawyer, you've already been made a ward of the state from their barfly setup. They created the birth certificate and the money and the debt and everything on that. Okay, they never came to the people. They've never talked to the people. And now they're acting like the people have no rights whatsoever. But they're going to give us some privilege from time to time. That's a bunch of horse crap right there, too. So, and when Christ died, everything was prepaid. Everything was prepaid. Okay, so with the birth certificate, they created a deficit of something like anywhere from $1 million to $3 million. Okay? And they say, well, you owe a debt to society. Okay, I didn't create the debt. They did. I didn't create the corporation. They did. Okay? Did they ever come to me and talk to me about it? Hell no. Well, from your own rules. Lease agreements, contracts, documents, instruments, covenant, and treaties, unless they are fully disclosed, are null and void. Period. In a statement. There's no sense in going on. And it's ironic that people have been following this misguided bull crap for over 3,700 years now. I mean, 3,700 years. Come on. And then, are we sure it's 3,700 years? Because if you get a Freemasons book out, I always get confused on it. The Irish rites and the Scottish rites, okay, you got to change the time to another 4,000 years tacked on. So one is, 4,000 and the other one's 4,004. So if you tack that on right now, you don't have 2023. You have 6023 and 6027. Okay, and then you minus for Mother Miriam. Her name was not Mary. It was actually Miriam. But then again, you might want to check back with what Isis and Horus was all about, because that comes from the Egyptian days, and it's really funny that they're almost identical to the story of Christ. So
it actually goes even further back than that. The Enochian.
Well, they call Anakis or Anukis. I mean, to me, it looks like it says Anuki, not Anaki.
Yeah, but they had something before the Egyptians had, along the same lines.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. People don't comprehend what's really going on out here. They're saying that, and what really cracks me up is the whole setup too. They're talking about the commercial design of it and the private setup, and it cracks me up because you got all these people going out there and saying, oh well, own nothing and control everything. If you own nothing, how can you control anything? You don't have anything. Okay. Now I understand the Mother Sophia Gaia Terra, aka Mother Earth, okay, is the ultimate dictator on a lot of things. And the creators of the universes that were made kind of created this. So it doesn't belong to us. All right, but for some reason, some people on this planet think that they can go ahead, rape, rob, and pillage people and create falsities to force people into a fictional world. Okay, this is just like playing a video game. You pick out your own little creature or avatar, or whatever you want to call it. That's, I guess the new term is avatar. Okay, but still, it's an illusion. It's not real. And that's the funny part. They used to tell us that if people, actually thought this way back in our day, they would have locked you up in a loony bin. But nowadays, it's free range, and, all the loony bin people are out there in a courtroom now, thinking they have the right to abuse people, harm people, and damage them. Okay, over a fraudulent setup to begin with, which wasn't even supposed to be designed this way. The money that was left behind, okay, for like the St. Germain's Trust or any kind of trust or anything of that nature is supposed to be our inheritance. Okay, and it's not our inheritance now. And, these outfit gangs, if they're not doing anything, okay, they're not, committing themselves to doing things that are correct, then why do we need them? You know, and what we've learned in our studies and going through time. Okay, so when they hire you at, say, I'll give you an example. I went to work for Peoples when I was 15 years old. You might know them as CVS now. Okay, so when people sold out and it became CVS, CVS took the debt from people, okay, and held on to it. Well, what people don't understand is the deficit is not ours. It's the government's deficit because they're the ones that got in trouble for not keeping the books. And that was their only one job, was keep the books, okay? Not make all this controversy and bullshit going on and murdering people for profit. Okay, false profits for false profits. I mean, seriously. And the last one's profit. Okay, that's not a profit for anybody. All right, and people don't comprehend this. But when they hired me, what they don't tell you is, under their barfly rules, okay, they retire you at age 75. So when they got me at age 15, Peoples, now CVS, collected 60 years worth of payment up front from the IMF and the Treasury and the IRS. Okay, take a look at it. They're talking about subsidies. Okay, subsidy is a tax break. Okay, but like I said, if you don't know your history and you don't understand words, yeah, they're probably going to love you because, they're going to murder you just like they do everybody else. And that's the other one, they're trying to say that we're this corporate entity because we didn't refute it or rebut it, but they didn't do it in the proper aspects either. There's no stamp and seals on.
Oh,
Okay.
also, whenever we do refute or rebut it, whenever we claim our standing, they turn around and just ignore it.
Yeah, you see, that's the most heartbreaking situation right there is the ignorance that you see with these so-called elites. Okay, they're not enlightened at all. That's why they're called elites, because they fall short of any kind of enlightenment. Okay? And that's really what's going on, people. I mean, seriously, it says, what was hidden shall be revealed. Well, here's what was hidden, okay? They've been fleecing us out of credits because there is no money. They took the money away because they don't want to pass our inheritance. That's basically the bottom line. They constructed a bunch of books called the Bible and some other books spiritually so that you idiots would fall into a situation. Hell, most of them you don't even read that Bible at all because if you did, there's 4 things in that Bible, 5 that I always remember, and that is, I left this world to Satan. Right there, that's a no-no, okay? Number 2, it says, that God hates certain situations. Well, the number one thing, I wouldn't say the number one thing, but one of the 4 things that he hates, okay, is doctors, right off the bat. Right off the bat. And then pharmakia, a.k.a. pharmaceuticals, FDA bullshit, okay, or the WHO, or all these, Wuhan, China, and scientists and whatnot. Okay, then you've got, ye lawyers have sold your brothers and sisters into bondage. Oh, that's slavery. And yet they continue to do it. They continue to do it. So instead of stopping, they continue. Okay, well, there's the con. You got to give up your tax identification number. That's the 10. And they're going to keep fucking you. That's the U. And it's heartbreaking. Then the 4th one, which really cracks me up, and the reason that Christ got so upset and turned the tables on the money changers in the den of thieves, okay, and, what's the old term, honor among thieves? Well, what do you call that guy with the black robe in the middle of the fucking courtroom? What do you call him? Your honor? For what?
Yeah, there's no honor in it.
Exactly. They're dishonoring you. They're dishonoring themselves, okay?
Well, hold on, Chief, real quick. I want to mention this while I've got it. I'm on the FBI website right now, and it says what we investigate: terrorism, cybercrime, counterintelligence, civil rights. This is when I called in onto it. The FBI is the lead agency enforcing civil rights law, aggressively investigates hate crime.
Do you remember the agent's name?
No, but guess what? I got it recorded because I've been recording everything. Right here. It also says color of law abuses by public officials. I was talking to him, telling him about that. He turns around and tells me, oh, well, sounds like you need to call a lawyer. I go, no, I'm not giving up my rights on that. Basically, he was a public official trying to do color of law to avoid, by getting me to give up my rights to a lawyer. But the thing is, he hung up on me while I was trying to explain.
Well, and that's the problem also, is that when you go to a lawyer, you know, the whole system is based on fraud. Okay, so they include you into the fraud. And how they do that is they ask you, is this you on this piece of paper? No, it's not you. 1965, Johnny Carson, it was the Attorney General for the entire United States, and he had a birth certificate on there with Johnny, and he said, is that you? And Johnny said, yeah, I guess so, it's got my name on it. He goes, no, that's hearsay. Okay, it's all hearsay. All right, there's no facts, there's no factual evidence or any, every court goes by assumption, presumption. They go by no facts whatsoever. And even if they make a decision, it's still not factual. Therefore, it's all null and void in the first place. Most of their contracts, because of the grammar, is null and void. So back to the DE being negative and the RE being negative. Okay, so you want to talk about religion. You know, the Baptist, the Pentecostal, the Methodist, Lutheran, Catholics. But right there, God says, you know, organized religion he hates. And that's exactly what that is. Okay? And if you've got a 501c3 on that organization, okay, you're not following God, you're following the government. Okay? And the government thinks it's a God. You know, when they say you can't serve two gods, well, why are you paying the IRS and even dealing with the ATF or the Treasury, because they're under the trust fund of Baal, which was considered a fertility god and a taxing god. Okay, but yet the Bible says totally something different, which I don't really care for the Rome Church's version of it, because it's a plagiarized version of the Geneva Bible. Okay, but people just don't study. They don't want to study. They want to be happy to go put, I guess, their 40 in or 80 some odd hours a weekend. You know, come home dead dog tired. You know, maybe go out for a couple of weeks on a vacation, I guess. You know, if you can call it a vacation. The ironic thing is most of you have no clue, but you're paying yourselves because of this Bankruptcy Act from a Sestacate Trust. Okay, the Sestacate Trust actually translates from Latin to for he who lives. Okay, well, if it says for he who lives, then why in the hell am I fighting these fucking morons? Okay, because, you know, when they ask you your name or your birth date in court and you answer, you're answering incorrectly. Okay, number one, you don't have a name. Spell name, N-A-M-E. In 1933, everybody was made enemy of the states. Okay, that's how they got away with it, if you want to call it getting away with it. But they just flim-flam and hoodwink people. Okay, so R-E taken out from religion leaves you what? We are legion. So you see, you're not even seeing what's right in front of you. Okay, and it really is time to, you know, wake up, McFly. Seriously, wake up. And, you know, literally these bar F liars, because that's what they are, bar flies, bar F liars. And look at the word lean, L-I-E, lies right in there. Okay, or lie-in, L-I-E-N. Okay, or better yet, L-E-I, okay, legal identifying entity. Okay, you have L-E-I, you have E-N-I. You know, there is no money. So how can they tax you for something that's not real? All right, because they flim-flammed you into believing it is. The Federal Reserve note does not say it's cash, cashable, or redeemable. It just says it's a Federal Reserve note. Okay, they put a little number on it, and you think that's what the value of that piece of paper is. No, the actual value is like less than 5 cents per piece.
More like 3 cents.
Yeah, well, we figured it out at 3 a while back, and I still say it's 3. So for 186,000 fake dollars made, they have actually created almost 100 and what is it? I think it's almost $180 million on face value. Okay, but there is no value. Okay, that's the whole point. And if you're placing value, okay, that would lead to numbers. And to me, that would lead to not just color of law, but the numbers of the beast. Okay, and ironically, the computer system, the split computer system, because there's 2 of them that run the entire thing, that's what they call it, the beast. You know, and it's all out there for you, you know, to see and review if you want to. If you open up your eyes and your mind, Okay, you'll see it. But if you're going to run around like a chicken with your head cut off and you want to start talking about freedom, we probably ain't going to have much of a talk because you have no clue what freedom really is.
No.
You know, it's ironic because we're following not just the Germans' version of bullshit from World War II, but also the Italian situation, the communist, you know, manifestos. If you read the Communist Manifesto, here's one pull up the Communist Manifesto and then go pull up the old Patriot Act. They're almost identical. But you see, people don't comprehend that. The whole COVID thing was to see how many of you are still a fucking slave. That's all it was. How many they can kill and how many they'll keep to be their slaves. That's what it boils down to. And, you know, if you're going to follow Christ, I guess you have to take the thought process, if you're spiritual, that you and your family may be murdered. Because that's what they do. They murder you because they've created a insurance or assurance policy. So, you know, and this is what it gets me, is that they're trying to say that they can create a corporation at any point in time. You know, so you're going to see that it's usually after 3 days after you were born that they created some kind of uppercase name on you and considered a legal identity, okay? But once again, it's hearsay. You by their own words. So, you know, you can't go by what some corporation says because they're not a true witness, okay? In order to have anything in the courtroom, you have to have somebody that was an injured party with two witnesses, sworn affidavits, sworn paperwork. A certain procedure followed, and they're not doing it. You know, just recently we were speaking about that. A friend of ours down in North Carolina, she's fighting the court systems, and they came out and basically said they're not going to follow common law, constitutional law, or anything. Okay, well, you're not a state anymore. You're not a country anymore. And that's the other one. People don't understand. It's not the 50 states. It's the 50 countries. Okay, but they're corporational countries. They're not true countries by discovery. Okay, and this whole thing about Christopher Columbus, well, once again, let's go back to the fictional bullshit. Okay, Christopher Columbus, that was not his real name. His real name was Christopher Colin, C-O-L-I-N. Okay, just kind of like Bernie Sanders' real name is Bernie Gutman, not Bernie Sanders. Okay, Barack Obama is really Barry Soetoro. Look up Lolo Soetoro, his stepdad, one of the biggest fucking largest drug-dealing kingpins in the world. So, you know, if you're not going to study, you're not going to study. If you clapping for those morons, I got no respect for you, no sympathy for you. You deserve what you get. And this world needs to change. It really does. If they said that we're supposed to have 1,000 years of peace, okay, well, when does that start? When does that happen? Okay, because everything else in the Bible has happened already. There is nothing new under the sun. There really isn't. You know, they talk about a methamphetamine situation in this country, okay, and the drugs. Okay, number one, who states what drugs are? Go back to the Roaring 20s. You could have gotten all this shit over the counter. Okay, methamphetamine was actually made after, like right at the end of World War I, just before World War II, by the Germans. Okay, and people don't understand this. After World War II, the countries got together and I guess gave us the means necessary to buy or purchase or compensate a bunch of necromancing, nefarious, narcissistic nitwits, okay? And all the torture they used on all those people over there, our country bought them up so that they could pass them on to the doctors and nurses. That's what it all falls down to. And it's a crying shame that this is the kind of world we live in, because this is not the world we were told. We were guaranteed a republic. Not that I give a shit about a republic either, because you know I'm not really into all the. I know my words. I don't buy into their bullshit because it's all fiction. I see what's in front of me that's reality. I can touch it, I can taste it, I can feel it, I can see it. Some people don't have those senses, and I feel for them. But in reality, there's been things that has been hidden for years, like being able to grow your teeth back no matter what age you are. Okay, but that ruins their dentist doctor-free industry right there. You don't need shots, you don't need fucking cures, because, you know, the creators put everything on this earth that we needed. It's a matter of learning how to operate with that. And we, you know, if you look at Christ, Christ said he was just a man. He could heal people. He could feed people. He told people the truth. He could understand their languages. You know, if he was just a man and the rest of us are just men, you know, and women, how come we can't do the same thing? What has restricted us to this bullshit? Okay, is what I want to know.
Greed. That's all it is. It's greed. It's wanting to have be in power over everything. Now, just to recap what has happened.
Well, that's the old saying. You know, a lot of these old sayings are true too. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, and that's what's going on. So.
I'm just going to recap, and then I'll probably shut this down. You've got a lot of good information out there, but recap is very simply who's to protect us from the protectors, because I've got tomorrow the sheriff is going to be coming here to basically try to physically remove us from this property without us having any other place to go. They did not give us enough time to find a new place, considering it takes 2 to 3 weeks just to get an application in and approved.
Okay, so here's another one. Y'all need to look up the word application and employee or employment.
Right.
Because those aren't really good words.
Well,
and each time you put in an application, it's opened up an account from the Social Security Administration situation. And notice how it says social. You know, that's socialistic, socialism. You know, and if you look at it correctly, once you read everything, the Social Security card number is actually a lottery number. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, you know, this is why you got to study history. This is why you got to be involved with things. I don't vote. You know, people are like, oh, well, if you don't vote, you got no say. Let me clue you all in. You're not voting for anybody because it doesn't matter what you think. The first trust ever created was the Roman Church. The Roman Church decides they don't want that president in there. He ain't going to be in there. They don't want that politician in it. He's not going to be in there. One way or another, they will get rid of him. And if you haven't read the Jesuits' code of ethics in arms or what they'll do, they will use a poison pen, a pill, a knife, a rope, anything to murder you to keep their ways going. And, you know, that's another one. The Roman Church says it's got a covenant with Christ, but has never proven it, has never come up with it. You know, it's just, like I said, it's very sad that people don't comprehend history like it should be comprehended. And then that's the other thing that wasn't taught to us properly. I mean, Honest Abe, seriously, no, he wasn't. He wasn't honest at all. Pretty much a dictator. He locked up 430,000 opponent political people. So, you know, that's a dictatorship. Nothing different than Mussolini, nothing different from, and, you know, I'm not going to, you know, there's ones that, you know, I get, a lot of people think that Hitler was wrong in what he was doing, but if you look at the Jewish situation, it says that if you're not Jewish, you're not the chosen people, and they can kill you too. They can lie to you, they can make you sick, they can, you know, it's amazing how these so-called spiritual, or I can't even say spiritual, because most spiritual people, like the natives, the original inhabitants of this side of the world, before 58.2 million were murdered for the colonists to come over here and force this system upon everybody. And I hate it when I hear people say, oh, well, that was done by conquest. No, that was done by a bunch of fucking murder and thieving mother, you know, SOBs. Really what it was. Even the Spanish did it, you know. People just get too big for their britches. You know, they really do. Even companies and corporations. Right now, these corporations think that you have to abide by their rules and regulations, which are, you know, codes and statutes. No, we don't. Okay? I never agreed to that. It was never brought to me properly. It's never been brought to anybody by property. And that's the sad part is, you know, we shouldn't have to put in an application. We should have a covenant and a treaty with everything we do, or an agreement. Okay, that's about all you need. You know, actions speak louder than words. Well, take a look at the actions of what we've been going through here with all the people that are supposed to be taking care of us, and they're not doing a fucking thing. Excuse my French.
I've called quite a few people. I've emailed quite a few organization heads. I've done a lot of work to try to rectify this situation extremely fast. Guess what? We're still being evicted into below freezing weather without any shelter. They're killing us. So now...
And then sadly they're going to say it's our fault that this happened. No,
Oh,
it's not.
because we didn't acquiesce to their dictatorship.
Well, and that's the other one, okay? It states right in all these contractual situations that we don't have to abide by this government because it's not ours. And then you got all these people talk about expatriate, this, that, and the other thing. Man, look, if it's all fictional, you ain't got to do none of that. Okay? Black and white, color of law. Okay? Oh, it's written in black and white. Right there, they're telling you right now that they're doing color of law. Okay, black on white paper is Mort Main. It's the death hand. Okay? A lot of people don't get this, man. Even in the Bible, everything that's in black and white is just kind of a history lesson. Okay? Everything that's in red is what you should be reading, as long as it makes no reference to anything in black and white. Okay? When you do your paperwork, you should be doing it in black and white. And typing, it says it shall be written. If you look at the Constitution in the early paperworks back in time, okay, everything was handwritten. Okay, they had a scribe. All right? Not this scribe you have now on the internet, but, you know, they actually had someone that wrote things down. They want you to put everything into a trust, because it says, in God we trust. I don't trust your gods no more. I don't trust none of your shit no more. And it's because it's all based on fiction. Go read the canon laws that all the laws are based on. It says right there, it's fiction. Okay, well, if it's fiction, then the rest of the book is fiction too. Why does it have a copyright? Okay, you can't go get the original birth certificate, but you can get a copy. Okay, and this is to show you how insane it is. Okay, for me to get a driver's license, okay, license, you know, they want you to lie about your sin, so they can tax you for it. Okay, not license, because there's no sense in lying. Okay, in order to get that license, I got to go get a birth certificate. Well, in order to get the birth certificate, I need a driver's license. You see, it's all bullshit. You don't need none of that. Okay, most people don't even know that land stands for, or law stands for land, air, and water. Okay, you want to be at the highest ascension. Okay, in the air. Well, the only air you're going to have is between your ears. Okay, intellectual property. If you'll notice on your applications, this is what brought that up to me is, if you look at the application, it says they also have the right to your intellectual property if you sign on with that corporation. And yeah, if you sign on with Walmart, you got to follow Walmart's bullshit rules, their corporational rules. You know, or you can create your own trust and your own rules and create your own business that way. I just find it to be very upsetting, time-consuming, because we weren't taught these things, which is really a bait-and-switch type tactic. It's just like, you know, back in my day, you could not say something was free. I don't care. You know, if you had to pay the shipping and handling, you did not say it was free. Okay, if it had any type of thought process of payment, it's not free. Okay? So, you know, and it's so funny they want you to pay shipping and handling, not for delivery, which really would be minus the delivery. So, but if you don't know your grammar and you don't know your stuff, it's going to happen to us. And we're expecting more shit to happen because, you know, I'm thinking we're probably going to be in a war here shortly soon because, you know, people are lining up. There's people that want to be morons and ignorant of everything and want to follow the illusional bullshit trail of the elites. And all of them are bogus too. Your senators in Congress are nothing but a shadow government. There's a whole lot of truth to that. That leads back to color of law. Okay, they are not properly a government because that's what's been going on since 1861. Okay, the South left and there was no quorum to bring back to the actual system for it to be a government. So you're still going through civil law, a civil war in these courtrooms. That's why it's called a war rant. Okay, kind of like the library, not truthbrary, library. You know, and it's all around you. It really is. It's all around you. And they do put it out in movies and shit. But their thought process is they put a bit piece here, a bit piece there. They're doing their due diligence by putting it out there, informational wise. It's your non-due diligence. It's your own fault. That's where I was going with that. It's your own fault for not understanding our codes and our statutes. Oh, go back to World War II. Who were the code breakers back then? What broke the code for us? Right back to the original inhabitants of this earth. And if you look at the original inhabitants, or the Indians as they call them here, and you go back in time and actually look at the Hebrew language, you'll notice a very unique, distinctive parallel and comparison, because they're almost identical. So here they were living free. In reality, they didn't care about all this greed. They were just happy to be able to hunt, go do what they needed to do, and they only took what they needed and gave back to Mother Earth. They didn't keep taking and taking and taking. You can just look at the history of the white man being here. Not that, once again, that's under color of law. Okay, I'm not white. Okay, I have a slight light skin pigmentation. Some people have a darker one. And it's just really sad that we can't get past this bullshit. And here we're trying, but, it seems like the rest of the world has just given up. So, but I'm going to jump off. My apologies, I didn't mean to interrupt. But we've got to get this information out.
Yeah.
Here's a family that has physical as well as mental disability situations, and they're even violating their own Disabilities Act, and you still give a shit. I have no faith in people like that that choose to abuse people that are disabled, whatever their physical or mental challenge may be. I don't, I can't pray for those people. I can't be a part of your world, because your world is to murder for greed. And just before I jump off, if you're in the military, you sign up. They've got a $10 million policy on you. When you get killed, okay, your spouse is going to receive $500,000, and the government's going to keep $9.5. The other one is, when you die, if you haven't done your paperwork to get yourself free, all the millions they made off of the, fraudulent way they set this thing up, which is supposed to be your inheritance, okay, they confiscate that. Okay, so all that money that my grandparents paid into the Social Security Administration is supposed to come to me as my inheritance. Oh no, they robbed me, because I didn't come to them with their paperwork that I was never taught in order to handle the affair. Okay, well, whose fault is that? That's not my fault. See, that's what I'm saying here. They're going to say, oh, well, it's your own fault for not doing this. And then they're going to come back and say, well, we have programs. Uh-huh. And what is a program? Is it a professional gram? No. It's something to twist your head and mind set up. And there's no professionalism in it whatsoever as far as I'm concerned. And there's nothing pro about it. It's more of a con. They don't call them progress, they call it Congress. What's a governor do in any state? Or what does a governor do on an engine? It restricts shit. Wake up, people. We're going to continue to be restricted. We're going to start standing up for ourselves. And I, for one, I'm upset because these people have treated me like family. They've broken bread with me in a very unique way. I'm heartbroken that our world is this way. I really am heartbroken. Because Christ gave them the truth, I'm giving you the truth. But like he said, you can only do what you do with it. I mean, I can't tell you what to think, feel, or say. But there's a whole lot of, morons with some mental fucking disability shit going on. They call themselves judges and cops and, sheriffs. The sheriff's the one supposed to be delivering warrants and paperwork on that. The police are not here to protect you. They're corporational goons. And the actual U.S. Marshals are supposed to be handling, picking people up. So I'm just a little bit lost on this whole flip-flop thing they got going on. And I'm highly upset about the whole situation, because most of you don't know, SSDK Trust is an inheritance. Okay? So none of us had to be restricted in anything. And when one restricts the creative mind, you are therefore restricting nature in itself. Okay? And they tell you can't restrict nature, but they keep trying. And, they're trying to play God. I don't like to use God because that can trip you up too when it comes to legalities, creators of the universe. I don't live in a one world order situation. I live in a intergalactic, universal, planetary system. Okay? And if I don't, then you need to get rid of a bunch of scientists. The other one, you can look it up. There's patents for the COVID. COVID is nothing but the flu. It started in 1966. Was the very first COVID situation that I could find. They try to kill people with the Spanish flu. They keep trying to kill people so they can make their false profit and laugh at us. That's what's so heartbreaking. And seriously, these people should be ashamed of themselves, but they just got no conscience. And if you don't have a conscience, I don't think you can have a meeting of mind with somebody who does have a conscience. And shame on you. I mean, seriously, all of them. If this is the way the Jesuits and the Illuminati and the Freemasons and all them want to run, shame on you. I mean, seriously. You ain't no better than a maggot. You really aren't. You're no better than a maggot. You're a parasite.
Actually, no, sorry. They're not better than a maggot, they're actually lower because at least maggots and parasites have a use.
Well, that's true. I mean, and the old saying is, if they thought you kind of were like a rattlesnake or had some screwed up intentions, okay, they would have said you could wear a top hat. Okay, that's one of those pop-out ones that Lincoln probably wore back in his day, and walk under a snake's belly and not even scratch some bitch or let it know you was there. So that's pretty low. I hate to say it these days, but if you're going to shake a politician's hands or judge or clerk, the clerk's the only one in there that really should be addressed. The rest of them are all just fucking players and actors, no more than a stage situation. And it is staged. It's a setup for everybody to fall. And most of you don't know it, but the judges are in it to get their $30 million and then get out, which is really funny because it's just false money still. Even gold and silver is going to be false. Okay? The only ones that really made the standard for that was the Spanish, because that was the first time that they had to do a weights and measures for the entire world to be on board with. And they were ahead of the game on that. But they're using different multi-languages in these courtrooms. Marijuana wasn't spelled with a J until after 1937. There's a lot of stuff you gotta get your heads wrapped around. And really, we need to change the situation. Argentina just recently did their own constitution all over again because the original one was pretty much, like this one is. It's not functional. It's a big fraud, under friction. So they made theirs non-fiction, and so I guess things would be better. It's just, like I said, it's just really sad. I feel bad because I've tried to help these people, and I've been restricted myself because, they want to, they think might is right. They think that murdering people gives them the right to take over the land that those people lived on. No, it doesn't. We took care of it for, thousands upon thousands of years before you showed up. Okay, now I am split. I would be called, half-breed back in the day. I call myself a crossbreed. Okay, and only because, like I have a Australian healer, and a lot of people don't comprehend the Australian healer is not a purebred dog in reality from the creation of it. It has pit bull mixed in it for jaw strength, some spots with that. It has Dalmatian mixed into it with the spots, and then sometimes they have, they go deaf later on, just like Dalmatian. So, that's a crossbreed. I'm a crossbreed between the natives and, the, I guess, colonists, if you want to call it that, but they married back into the tribes when they got here. And that is another one. That is one of their legal outs is to become a tribe. But now they're not even doing that. They're just committing lawlessness shit everywhere. And the judges and the lawyers aren't going to be the ones that are going to prison. They're going to throw their own thugs underneath the bus. Those are the badgers. Those ones with badges and guns, that only take, less than 6 months to really get on the force, or 6 months to 18 months. It takes a beautician almost 3 years to learn everything. So she don't cut your ear off or, cut your nose off your face. But you're going to let some guy that went to war or is mentally and physically broken by a military construct, okay, with PTSD and come back and handle a gun and tell people what they can and cannot do on the street. Most people don't know that either. There's a limit. The state troopers only have the area of the state where they were created. So everything in the Virginia state is supposed to be in Henrico County, and that's it. Okay? Unless they can prove some kind of contract. But that's the other one. Most of the contracts are null and void too, just by the grammar. That's where the Chicago Styles Manual comes in. If anything has uppercase at the beginning, I don't care if it's even the date at the top, in the right-hand corner, left-hand corner, or center, it don't matter. If it's in all capitals, or better yet, military time, it's null and void. And that's the other one. They're going by tribunals. It's military law, okay? And it's never been repealed or redone, but it was never properly fashioned in the first place. But I'm going to jump off. I'm limited on power.
Yep, definitely, Chief. Thank you for talking.
Yeah, one plea real quick before I am going to jump off right after this, but please, one plea. People, come on, let's come together. This family really needs some support. They try to do the best they can. It's a shame that other people just, they let their minds be constructed a certain way by manipulation or browbeating, peer pressure. Okay, stand up for their rights or your rights. And we're talking RITES, not this, RIGHTS or anything WRITES. Although WRITES should be hand style. So, but bless you all, and thank you for the time. Peace, John, Helen, and crew.
Thank you, Chief.
I love you all.
We will try to keep in contact with you. We'll figure out what's going on.
I know, man. I'm gonna lose it here.
Well,
I just have so much compassion for people, and I just don't understand why they don't get it. But yeah, I love you all. Take care of yourselves, man. I'll try to catch up to you in a little bit.
no. Talk to you later, Chief.
All right, peace, man.
Peace, bro. Now, that was the guy that knows quite a bit about what's lawful. He studies constantly. He even taught the DA in his area everything the DA knows. The DA's never lost a case, thanks to what Chief has taught him. And he is my trustee and my chief counsel. And these barflies, these idiots, these liars, lawyers, and corrupt judges, I've told them, contact my chief counsel. They've refused. Why? Because he doesn't have a bar license or a bar card. British Accreditation Registry. No, that's the thing. He's not a member of their boys club, which means they can't control him. So, in the end, guys, I've got a couple of ideas that I'm going to be doing. And if you don't hear from me, then in a year or two, then they killed us all. Or they imprisoned us all and they stole my offspring and they put them into child... sold them into child slavery. Sold them into human trafficking. Sold them into child sex rings, as far as I know. I mean, what else do they do with the fucking kids? Seriously. So with that, guys, I'm just gonna say goodbye, because I don't know if there's anything left. Oh, by the way, if you want to contact me, my phone number is 541-589-1721. I'll be putting this up and the little clips of the recordings, like the FBI that decided he was going to just hang up on me because I wasn't willing to get a fucking attorney. Yeah, I'll be putting these clips up on Rumble, so go check Rumble. Thank you, guys.